welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel panel announcement. That's right, we actually got movies scheduled out from now till 2025, and we're going to talk about the books that I think you guys should be picking up because of these announcements. But before we get started in today's video, guys, like always, I'm going to ask you, if you're not a current subscriber of the channel, I want you to do me a favor, go ahead and click the subscribe button for me, because it really does help the channel out. Smash that like button on the way out and turn on the notification bell, because it lets you guys know when I post new videos. With that said, check out my web store, mightycollects.com. I got comic books, I got awesome merch. Go out there, support the channel, guys. I really appreciate it. With that said, we're talking Marvel comic books, and there was a bunch of announcements from Marvel on their panel last night. Everything from Quantumania to Wakanda Forever, and a couple of other surprises we got towards the end of that panel. With that said, what I want to do is I want to go over each announcement, go through each movie, each TV show on Disney Plus, and tell you what books I'd be buying and what books probably maybe I'd be staying away from. Regardless, the one thing I want you to guys do is do me a favor. Before you go out and buy anything, I want you to go check last eBay sales or GPA. So don't go out and buy anything this minute. I want you to go out and actually check the sales over the next couple of weeks and see, hey, this book is kind of going up too fast right now. If it's not going up, stuff like that, before you buy anything in this market. With that said, we're going to look at this list and look at everything that was announced. So we got Thor and Love and Thunder. That came out already. I Am Groot is coming out on August 10th, and it's just going to be a series of short things. There's no book out there that I'm really going to buy for this. If you own the first appearance of Groot, I think that's great. Not sure if it's going to go up because of this series. I'm going to say highly unlikely, but either way, no book that I want to add because of that show. Next, we have the She-Hulk series. Again, it's right around the corner. I told you guys I'd be dropping the She-Hulk books, and I'm sticking to that. We got an awesome trailer at this panel yesterday, and I gotta be honest, I would use this time to sell those books if you're not married to them long term. I do think the series is going to be great, but then again, I don't want to hold on to these books for the long term. That's just me. I would not be going out there and buying any She-Hulk books right now. After that, we have Wakanda Forever, November 11th of this year, and this is probably one of the movies I'm most excited for. We got the sneak peek. We saw the Submariner, a little glimpse of him on that trailer last night, and I gotta be honest, these books are already going up crazy since last night. I'm not going out, I'm not buying anything Submariner related right now. I'd wait a couple of weeks, a couple of months, wait for everything to die down, see if the prices start to come down. If they don't, I gotta be honest, at this point, I'm staying away. I told you guys maybe about a month or two ago, if you're gonna buy them, buy them before we get any type of announcement. And now that we got the official announcement and we saw a little bit of him, books are going crazy. I'm talking about like 5.0 books selling for 10 grand, which is way too much in my opinion. The next we have is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. We also have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that's going to show up in May of 2023. James Gunn has said that this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy film that is going to be with this team, and he won't be back as well. With that said, I'm not buying any books for the Guardians of the Galaxy. If you start to see these books go up, I'd use that opportunity to sell. Okay, I'll go back to Black Panther a little bit. People have asking me, should I buy the first appearance of Shuri? Should I buy the first appearance of Shuri as Black Panther, and M'Baku as Black Panther? And my short answer is this: no, I'm not buying any of those books right now. The only book I buy for Fantastic Four is 52. That's the only book I'm adding for Black Panther right now, is the first appearance of T'Challa as the Black Panther, and I'm only buying that as a long-term hold. I'm not buying it for the short term, so keep that in mind. After that is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Again, not many books that I'm going out there to look by right now. However, I will say this. If you own a copy of Avengers 8, the first appearance of Kang, once we get a final appearance, that means we actually see him in a movie, in a trailer, what he looks like, at least one classic iteration of him, I'd use that opportunity to sell. I'm not going out and buying this book right now unless it starts to dip even further. Then you know what? Then I'll snag it and kind of wait for him to show up, and then it's when I unload it on that pop. After that is the What If series. Again, I don't think any books are going to pop off the What If series. Again, we have to wait and see what the storylines are going to be. But again, it's not going to happen until early 2023. So once we kind of get an inkling to say, hey, this is what they're going to talk about in What If, this is what the shows are going to be about, maybe then we can go out and say, hey, I want to buy this book. But for right now, I'm staying away from everything. After that, we have Secret Invasion. Finally, something that we didn't get any glimpse of. If you were at San Diego Comic-Con, you got to see a little bit of footage. If you were not, we saw nothing. With that said, I always talk about Fantastic Four number 18, the first appearance of the Super Skrull. That book really hasn't gone anywhere over the past year and a half. There might be a possibility we could see the Super Skrull in that show. Again, if it hasn't done anything over 2 weeks and you want to add it, I think that's a book that I might want to jump on. The next one after that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I went over it already, but I'm not expecting any books to go up. Maybe Adam Warlock books if we finally get a glimpse. But again, I'd be using that opportunity to sell, not to buy. And then we have the Echo series Summer 2023. We already got this announcement. There was already speculation about this character. If you don't own those books related to this character already, I'm staying away. Again, I'd be using this opportunity to sell. So we're a third of the way through this thing, and if I bought any books, the answer is no. And that's a theme here, guys. We don't want to buy anything on the news, right? We want to see how it reacts over the next weeks, months, and then if they come in a little bit and you want to add it long term, that's when I jump on things. Not right now, but we're going to go through the list anyway and see if there's anything we might want to pick up. After that is Loki Season 2, Summer of 2023. So, again, we don't know any of the plot details. If you want to go out and buy a Journey in Mystery number 85 for a good price, add it long term, I'm okay with that. But there's nothing outside of that I want to add at this point. The Marvels. We already got the appearance of Kamala Khan in Miss Marvel series. Now, we already saw Carol Danvers. We're going to get a Monica Rambeau possibly, in this Marvel movie. No books that I really want to add for monetary value. After that is the Ironheart series. The Ironheart series, I got to be honest with you guys, it's been announced, it's been speculated on for the better part of a year. If you don't own the first appearance of Riri Williams, you don't own the first appearance of Riri Williams in the Armor, now it's too late. I'd be using this opportunity to sell. After that, X-Men 97, the cartoon fall of 2023. I'm actually really looking forward to watching this. We were just talking about this with my stepson. We might start watching the old X-Men series to kind of get us prepared for this thing, and I think that's great. But all X-Men books are on the table here, right? I don't think this cartoon is going to push any of those books higher. When we finally get that X-Men announcement, that's where we're going to get the X-Men books starting to rise again. So I think now is a great time to buy X-Men books. And when I say X-Men, I'm talking about the big boys. X-Men number 1, Hulk 181, Hulk 180, Giant Size X-Men number 1, X-Men 94. Those are the books that I'd stick to for the X-Men. There are smaller keys, X-Men 101, First Phoenix, couple other books. Mr. Sinister is a great possibility. Really cheap book if you want to pick that up now. I don't see those books jumping off this cartoon announcement, right? November 2023, we have Blade, right? Definitely the only book I want to own is Tomb of Dracula number 10. I'd watch it over the next month. If it hasn't really gone up and you want to add it to the collection, do it before we get some kind of a trailer, sometime we get some type of footage. Then you could use that time to sell that book. There's also another one, Tomb of Dracula number 1. I mentioned this on the Hot 10 this week. You have to be very careful with that book. There's a rumor out there that Anthony Starr is going to take on the role as Dracula. So with that said, he's a really popular figure right now because of what he's done with Homelander. I think if that rumor does come to fruition, that book can get a nice push. So on any type of dip, any type of stalemate, and you want to add it, I'd add that book in high grade if you can. After that, we have Agatha, Coven of Chaos. And again, another series I'm looking forward to, but no really books that I want to add off of it, okay? I think Agatha's a great character, but I don't see anything going up in price that I want to own long-term for the collection. And right now, I'm only thinking long-term. After that is probably my favorite announcement that we got so far. Daredevil Born Again. And this is where I'd be putting my money to work right now on any books that I have not taken off because of this announcement. First and foremost, Daredevil number 1. That is the key to this whole thing. They showed a glimpse of Daredevil in the She-Hulk trailer, and he's in the classic yellow and red costume. So I'm going to say, if you want to pick up some original banana suit Daredevil, I'm all for it. Daredevil number 1 through 6 are classic appearances. You have Amazing Spider-Man number 16 as well. If you can go the route of Daredevil number 1, that's what I would stick to. Also, we talk about first appearance of Kingpin, we talk about the first appearance of Bullseye, and we talk about the first appearance of Elektra. Those are the 3 books that I'd be pushing to that are not, first appearance of Daredevil. those are the books that I want to own for that series. Again, we have an announcement. It's 2 years away. You're going to have plenty of time to buy these books. But like I said, watch eBay, watch the last sales over the next couple of weeks, next month. If you don't see a push, if you see fair market value or under for high-grade copies, that's what I'd go to. First Bullseye, first Elektra, 8.0 or higher. First Daredevil, any grade you can get in as long as it's complete, unrestored. Same with ASM 50, first Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio was already over Twitter confirming that he's coming back. Basically, he can't wait. I'm looking for that book to finally push. A lot of people are dumping it. You can get that book for cheap. That's one I'd keep an eye on. After that, May of 2024, we have Captain America New World Order. Again, if you want to go out and get a Cap 117, the first appearance of Sam Wilson, I'd go out and get that book, but I'm not rushing out to get it. You don't need to. It hasn't really gone up since he's taken on the role of the new Captain America. And that's the only book I'd really look to add. Again, if you want to own that for the long term, it will go up. But other than that, I'm staying away from all other Captain America books related to Sam Wilson. I don't see the long-term investment in those things. After that, we have the Thunderbolts, another team that I'm interested in to see who they're going to use going forward in this team. I don't think we're going to get a Red Hulk, that's for sure. But we may have, Baron Zemo. I'm hearing it's Abomination, Taskmaster, stuff like that. Again, no books that I want to go out and buy because of this announcement. I don't want to own the first appearance of the Thunderbolts at this point. That book is probably going to go up a little bit, but again, it's not a long-term hold. Again, if you want to go out and get the first appearance of, all these smaller characters that make up the team, go right ahead. They're cheap books. They're not that expensive. So if you want to add them, I think for the long term, they're fine. I don't expect to get big monetary jumps out of these characters. After that, we have a big one starting Phase 6, Fantastic Four, November of 2024. Now, I will say this. There's a lot of books you can go out there and get for this movie. We don't know the plot details. We don't even know who's playing the actual characters. But if you want to go out and get a Fantastic Four #1, that's the money book, right? That's what I always say. And after that, we have a couple little other books you can go out and get. The first appearance of them in the costumes. I don't remember what number that one is, but that one may jump. We have a classic Hulk versus Fantastic Four battle, Fantastic Four #12, even though I think in that issue they don't actually go out and battle. But again, a classic Jack Kirby cover, one of my favorites of all time. Then I think we have a Fantastic Four where the Hulk versus the Thing go at each other. It's a purple book. They're both on the cover. I don't remember the issue, but that's another book you might want to look to add. Again, an inexpensive book, but I don't want to overpay for these books. You guys understand? So if you get them on the cheap, those books, I do it. The Fantastic Four 12 and the Fantastic Four #1. I'd pay up for those books because they're two books that I think will go up in the near and long term. After that, we have Marvel Zombies 2024. Now, I'm hearing this is going to be an R-rated series, so I'm assuming it's going to stick to the storylines that were in the Marvel Zombies comic. So any, great issue that came out of that series, I'm not too familiar with it. If you want to pick up for the long term, I don't know how much money you're going to get out of this thing, if they're going to go up. Hey, if you realize, hey, I'm going to pick them up and say, oh, they use this story, it might get a bump. I think it's too much speculation, though. I got to be honest with you, I'd rather put my money somewhere else. 2024, we have Spider-Man Freshman Year, and this series has confused the living daylights out of me. So not only is Tony Stark not going to be the mentor to Spider-Man in this thing, it's going to be Norman Osborn, which is great. That leads me to say we can go on and get Amazing Spider-Man #37, the first appearance of Norman Osborn, and then an ASM 14 if he happens to turn into the Green Goblin. That one might shoot up as well. But they're saying it's supposed to be canon. I don't know how it's supposed to be. It's got to be, in a different universe. Not sure how that's going to work, but those are two books that maybe you might want to pick up before that series hits. And again, you have time. Wait a little bit. Don't go out and rush out and buy anything right now because it's just not worth it. After that, we got the big announcement. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. And this gives me a lot of information just for the name of this thing. Lets me to believe that Kang is going to win, right? Just like Infinity War, Thanos won, Kang's going to win. He's going to kind of set up all these universes coming together into one universe, is my assumption, and he's going to rule over this thing. With that said, how many books are we going to go out there and buy off of this? None. Just Avengers #8. And again, I'm only buying that book if it's dropping at this point, right? We had a really, really big push when he was first announced to be in Ant-Man Quantumania a few years back. I think it was even before COVID. We got a huge push out thing. I used that opportunity to sell my copy. If it came back down, I definitely would re-add it because once we get that first glimpse of him, I do think we're going to get a push higher and we can let go of it again. Again, if you want to collect for the long term, hold it, keep it in your collection. And after that was another big announcement. Everybody was kind of expecting this to happen, but they weren't expecting for them to announce it this quick. 2025, November, we have Avengers Secret Wars. Now, everybody's thinking about what Secret Wars is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be the 2015 version of Secret Wars. I would love to have seen the original one, but I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's too complex for them to go and start and put that in the movie. With that said, guys, I'm not buying any of the modern 2015 run of Avengers Secret Wars. I do not think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of great storylines from there they could pull from. But with that said, I don't think they're long-term investments. So for me, I'm staying away. However, you never know. We can kind of get a symbiote attaching to Spider-Man in that movie, even though I know it's from the original. They may use that opportunity to say, you know what, maybe this is how we're going to introduce that symbiote to Peter Parker. I don't know. I think it's too much speculation. I want to own that book anyway, Secret Wars number 8. But again, there's no books that I want to add because of this movie. That's the full slate from now until the end of 2025. Phase 5 and Phase 6 and a little bit towards the end of Phase 4. So again, I'm going to reiterate, I'm not rushing out there and buying anything right now. I think once we get these announcements, people use their opportunities to sell these books. You're going to see a lot of Fantastic Four number 4s out there. You're going to see a lot of Submariner number 1s. You're going to see a lot of books out there that I think that people are going to try to unload on these news. And with that said, be smart. Don't go out there and rush to buy anything. Look at GPA, look at eBay last sales, a couple of last sales. Don't just look at the last one, but look, say, hey, over the last 3 months, where has this book sold? Am I comfortable at buying this book at that price? Do not overpay for anything. Forget FOMO, forget all that stuff. Use your head, go out there and buy long-term keys. So Fantastic Four to me is a great bet. X-Men, they didn't announce anything. I think that's a great bet outside of the cartoon. Use that opportunity to buy those two things, all right? Those are the things are the future of the MCU, and you have time to kind of buy them and kind of leave them in your collection and not worry about it. And then when you do get some announcements, then you can kind of unload it. So that's it for this video, guys. Not a lot of books that I would buy. Again, this is an opportunity to sell, in my opinion, especially with the market the way it is. With that said, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.